When I walked into the theatre to see Superman, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't what I got. I'm still processing it, to be honest. Anyway, here's my unfiltered, unbiased, unsolicited review of James Gunn's Superman. So strap on your cape. Or tie it on. How does it attach? Probably doesn't matter.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
Full disclosure, I'm not a comic book guy or a superhero movie fan. Honestly, most of the superhero movies I've seen were mediocre and unmemorable. At the same time, I'm also not an anti superhero movie guy. You'll find no hate here. Also, I'm not super familiar with James Gunn, the writer and director of Superman and other things. I've definitely seen at least one Guardians of the Galaxy movie, maybe two. My point is, I went into Superman with an open, unbiased, yet skeptical mind. Many of the superhero movies I've seen take themselves too seriously, and that seems to be their undoing. Except for The Dark Knight, I give that one a pass. But seriously, look at the DC universe. It's a place where a set of reading glasses is a viable disguise, and the most powerful man in the world wears his underwear on the outside. And didn't he used to get changed in a telephone booth? Overall, Superman is a goofy concept, yet so many people have tried to make him super serious. But not this movie, because now Superman is silly. But has he gone too silly? It may be that he hasn't gone silly enough. There were definitely some issues with the tone of this movie, which I'll get to soon, but I want to start with the characters. Firstly, to enjoy Superman, you must be willing to embrace the absurdity and the comic bookery. By comic bookery, I mean the characters are fairly two dimensional, like they're drawn on paper, especially the antagonist, Lex Luthor, with his beautiful bald dome. Wait, isn't that the guy from Skins? Anyway, I like my villains to be complex and even sympathetic, but Lex is just a straight up evil mustache twirler who, get this, is jealous of Superman. That's his motivation. Jealousy. Schoolyard level motivation right there. And guess what? It kind of works. My first instinct was to say Lex Luthor as a character is flat and uninspiring. A billionaire fueled by ego and envy who throws toddler tantrums when he doesn't get his way, when he's not the center of attention. It's not believable. Then I remembered Elon Musk exists. Now the character feels too real. Superman himself isn't overly complex either. He's the polar opposite of Lex. Lex kills without hesitation or remorse, and Superman would risk his life to save a pigeon or whatever. I liked that about this version of Superman, his aggressive goodness, because back in the day, I watched Man of Steel, and Superman just fucks shit up, smashing up the city and indirectly killing what must have been, what, like thousands of people? Not very heroic Superman. The new Superman feels more like the real deal, always choosing to do the most good, even to a fault. Honestly, none of the characters had much depth, which is technically a negative, but it works for this movie. Classic comic bookery right there. With that said, I can't see depthless characters sustaining multiple movies or an entire franchise. We're gonna need some complexity at some point. Or maybe this is the winning formula for comic book movies. Don't overcomplicate it. One genuine issue with the movie is it feels too busy, almost rushed, and we don't get enough. I mean, that's almost a positive. I wanted the movie to be longer. I actually wanted more. And I'm torn here because I don't like to sit still for hours on end, so I'm not into big 4 hour epics. But it feels like Superman needed maybe another 20 to 30 minutes to let it breathe and let us get to know the characters better. And just because characters weren't complex, it doesn't mean they weren't compelling. Look, if after watching Superman you don't want to see more of the Justice Gang, you need to get your head checked. What a team! What a cast! I never thought I'd become a fan of a superhero named Mr. Terrific, but he's awesome. Terrific, even. For me, some of the most interesting scenes involve Superman experiencing human moments with Lois, with his parents, and adding more of these moments in might have made the movie feel less frantic while at the same time giving us even deeper insight into the Clark or human side of Superman. It feels weird to say I want to see more of Superman not being Superman, but trying to navigate being Clark Kent. I know, what am I saying? Perhaps my biggest issue with the movie, and it's not a deal breaker, is the tone feels off in some parts. It's confusing and inconsistent, like it doesn't know whether it's meant to be silly or serious. For the most part, it does work. The emotional moments do hit, and many of the jokes do land. I mean, some more than others. Quite a few bombed in the theatre, to be honest. The problem is, in some places, the movie really leans into the absurdity, only to pull back in others. For example, we actually get an explanation for why no one can tell Clark is Superman. Spoiler, Clark Kent is Superman if you didn't know. The movie explains why the glasses work as a disguise. But I thought we were rolling with the absurdity. Why explain some of it away? Then sometimes jokes are shoehorned. Anyone out there still using shoehorns? Anyone ever used one? Anyway, jokes are shoehorned in where they don't really fit, or maybe the jokes were just bad. Judging by the audience reactions, only about half were chuckle worthy, so there's room for improvement. And when the movie does pull back from the silliness, and I don't mean for the emotional moments where it has to, that's fine. It muddies the tone, it's confusing on a subconscious level, it feels off. Are we all in on the absurdity or are we leaning into sincerity? While the transitions between silliness and sincerity do work for the most part, it's not perfectly executed. While the concept is sound, it needs some fine tuning. Honestly, I don't know what possessed me to see Superman. I rarely watch movies at all, but I'm glad I watched this one. Seeing the chaotic plot and genuine comic book characteristics of the characters has me reconsidering what makes a good story. On paper, it shouldn't be good, but on screen, it is. It's silly and fun, yet emotionally moving in parts. So, going into Superman, don't expect a complex plot. You won't get it. Don't expect deep characters. None there. Don't anticipate any thought provoking moments. Not much of that going on. Instead, go in prepared to embrace the silliness and enjoy the wild ride. Because movies are meant to be entertaining, right? And Superman will entertain the pants off you. Or entertain the underwear off your pants if you dress Superman style. Seriously, who dresses like that? If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway and hate watch my content. That's always fun.